summarize about RAG real fast, is that your mega prompts are not going to really work anymore on these larger context window models because they are hard trained to do AG, which is the retrieval augmented generation. Okay. So they're designed to be fed a bunch of information. They think that they need to distill that information down into a report. And then from that report or that information, then they generate a response. So in the case of writing fiction, what we're running into is we're trying to give it all that information and we ask it to write a scene for us. It wasn't trained to do that. It literally wasn't trained to do that. It was outside of the scope of their thoughts that someone would use the LLM for that. So as a result, we're getting feedback. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. We knew it had to be something broken in the training for all of us to be getting the exact same messages over and over again. And when we reached out to Claude and they were able to adjust some settings and people suddenly were able to get things to work, that just goes to show you that they had blinders on what applications we were going to use these models for. So what is the workaround? The workaround is to start tweaking your prompting in a way that when you're going to feed it a bunch of information, your normal mega prompt, if you don't want to make any changes to your mega prompt, and you don't need to, say, read this mega prompt and make a plan to do XYZ task. That task could be write scene 1, scene 12, write a character profile, whatever it is that you would normally say for it to do of read all this information, now do the thing. You need to now ask it to read this information, make a plan to do this thing, now do this thing. If you do that, the RAG will shine upon you and you will be fine. How many of you have noticed for the last couple of weeks, I've been saying that the longer context stuff is not working as well as it did originally. And it was like losing the plot. Even if you gave it like 10,000 words and said, continue the story, it would lose the ability to understand what the heck to do. Has anyone noticed that? I didn't have the academic definition or reason why. Now I do. So it has, and we've also said that these bigger context windows, how many times have I said that there's something wonky, false about them, that they're doing some trickery on the back end to artificially extend these context windows? They're not really like a 100,000 token context window does not behave the same accuracy wise of an 8,000 token context window. Does that make sense to everyone? We've been pointing that out and all of that. That they're doing something on the back end to make this work. Now we know what they're doing on the back end and they weren't hiding it or anything like that. But this falls into the category of these tools are not made for us. They're not made for our applications. And the people who write these things and write the jargon for it, it reads like stereo instructions, right? We're going to talk today about something called RAG. How many of you have heard RAG in most recent blog posts or anything like that? Back in August, September, one of the things that I was experimenting with was write chapter 1. Now read chapter 1, write chapter 2. Now read chapter 1 and 2, write chapter 3. Now read chapter 1, 2, 3, write chapter 4. I was doing that with Claude. And that's when I was finding it turning my heroine into a heroin addict, which it's funny. You say those words. How else do you pronounce those words differently? Heroin and heroin. My heroine with an E became a heroin with no E addict in chapter 6. Now, chapters 1 through 5, she had not been a heroin addict at all. And my instructions for writing the next scene said, read all these chapters, write the next scene, have there be some crime that he's committed, another talking and blah, blah, blah. The tokens got all confused and jumbled, and it started to go crime, applied it to her. And next thing I have a heroin addict in chapter 6 when she hasn't been all that time. And that's when I realized they're doing tricks on the backside. They're not reading. There's no way that this entire mega prompt that's now 14,000 words long, there's no way that this entire mega prompt is being read in one fell swoop like the smaller ones are. Does that make sense to everyone? That's how I was able to like reverse engineer that this was broken, not working as intended or as promised. There was some chicanery going on back there. And so that's when I changed my methodologies of, okay, read all this, make a plan, make sure the plan is solid, and then from the plan, do the task. So I switched back during Claude 100K days because I realized that Claude 100K was not as it seemed. And that became really readily apparent to everybody else in the freaking world with Claude 2.1, the new Claude 200K, because there was no hiding it anymore. I think that they just turned that dial so hard for accuracy. I think with 100K, they were still experimenting with which way it was going to go. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's talk about the problems first of all that the researchers were trying to solve and why we're dealing with this. So the problems with AI that they were trying to solve. The first problem was that no accuracy. Okay, can we all agree that we were all seeing the LLMs were not being very accurate in, if you give it a large document, it hasn't been able to be very accurate in what it was spitting out. Did everyone notice that? So basically, if we're thinking here, generative is one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, all the way over here, is we're going to put accuracy. Okay, and what this means is that as the model moves closer to being more generative, it's going to hallucinate an answer. It's going to give you an answer that sounds plausible. This is what the early LLMs were able to. And the problem has been that a lot of applications like the law, medical, things where people's lives are on the line, do they need it to be generative or do they need it to be accurate? They need it to be accurate. And so basically the pendulum has shifted to where they're really trying to make these LLMs more accurate. Because where is the money in this world? They've never focused on fiction writing. Have you guys noticed they've never focused on fiction writing and stuff being an application that they were really happy to say, hey, it does this thing, right? Yeah. So there's this early layer of just gathering all the data. And that's what the LLM companies are going like, hey, we could gather all that data. And then the next step up would be we can gather all that data and then we can start giving you like a basic report, an accurate reporting. Nowhere in there is fiction writing or coming up with writing that is unique and exciting and imaginative. That's not the tasks and skills that they're looking to do. But when you read about this, it's actually a two-stepper. And this is why I think my mega prompting is still working, by the way. So my mega prompts never broke. How many people had their mega prompt break with the new Claude 2.1? If you were, yeah, because your mega prompt isn't like my mega prompt. No. But if anyone doing the writing brief methodology and it was still working. And the reason for that is because my mega prompting style now for the last couple of weeks has been, it has to be just enough information that it's got some meat to hang on to, but not too much information that it starts going into RAG mode. And RAG mode is Retrieval Augmented Generation. So what is RAG? What is Retrieval Augmented Generation? So it's a natural language processing technique that's going to combine retrieval and generative-based artificial intelligence. So this is what dawned on me this morning. It is a two-stepper. It is a retrieve the information, now generate cool stuff based on the information you have. I accidentally started doing this about 4 weeks ago. If you trace through my live writing, do you all remember when I made the change at the beginning of October? Here's all the mega prompt of gush, the characters and the setting and all this. Now make a scene writing brief for that scene. Now write the scene. Do you guys remember me making a move to that methodology? And people thought I was crazy and doing extra steps, but it was working better. And this isn't me, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm trying to explain, like, I've been working with this for weeks because we are the pioneers of this. Oh, there is no school to go catch up on this stuff. I accidentally stumbled upon this anecdotally in my work because I was seeing like this wasn't working. So I tried to shift. It turns out that is exactly what RAG needs to have happen, by the way, because the whole system is predicated on retrieve, now generate. Does that make sense to everyone? This is very different from methodologies that we've been doing in the past. In the past, we used to be able to just give it a whole bunch of information and say, just do. And now we have to say, here's a whole bunch of information. Here's how to make a plan and now do the thing. Now the question becomes, why did the short prompts fail? How many of you had short prompts fail? I did too. I was like, yo, just write this conversation. I can't write a conversation. And that's because they have hard trained these things. They were so excited to get to 200,000 token context window. They forgot that a lot of applications require far fewer tokens for that. And basically, my hypothesis here is that the 200,000 token context window is not really trained or designed to do anything that's less than 200,000 tokens. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll say it again. This is why they're not getting rid of all of those other models that we would deem as less good because they have smaller context windows and things like that. Basically, we are now moving into a phase of AI writing where you're going to have to pick the right model for the task you're going to do. because I was finding like the 200,000 token window in Rexy and stuff. I was like, just write this conversation. And it was like, nope, I can't do that because it just didn't have enough, I guess, material to do it on. But then I was trying using the instance and the smaller ones, and it was.
Thank you for joining us on something wickedly cool in AI. This is what we do in our lab sessions. So the Future Fiction Academy is 8 labs a week. You can come live, you can watch the replays after, you get the transcript, you also get the lab report. And we work together to specialize in different parts of AI tools to come up with really innovative prompting and how to use these tools in our everyday publishing careers. So if you would like to join the Future Fiction Academy, we would love to have you because it's a community that is AI positive and we're all working together to stay on top of this new technology before we all get left behind. So we invite you to come join us and have fun because we love to play with this stuff and we love to share it. So hope to see you in lab soon. Bye.